You're listening to Whispers of War.
Hello everyone and welcome to Whispers of War, show number 30. I'm your host Sil. Let's jump into how was my week in Warcraft. I did a lot of Warcrafting this week, I have to admit. So much so that all my other games suffered a bit, but I think that's kind of normal, right, when you get back into something. I actually finished the war campaign on my Alliance Druid. Now, when I say finished, I mean I'm finished with as much as I could do, because I'm kind of blocked now by reputation before I can actually proceed. So, you know, I have to contend with that. I'm still doing all the reputation things in between, which means, you know, the things that you get on the mission table. And I'm just doing the zones, and if I can do dailies at the same time, I will. I'm not going to go out of my way for them, but yeah. Been doing a bit of that. Really do enjoy the war campaign on the Alliance side. I don't know why, but I am actually really enjoying it. Even though I'm supposed to be a die-hard Horde. So, yeah, there's that. I actually finished up another zone on my Druid. Now I'm starting in Stormsong Valley, which will be my last and final area to get the achievements. So I think that's how you unlock the Dark Iron, isn't it? By doing everything. I'm not sure, but yeah, I like it. I like the area a lot. It reminds me a lot of England a little bit and Holland. I think it's the meadows and seeing the flowers and the windmills. So yeah, it's nice to be reminded of home a little bit. And so far the quest line is alright. I'm getting very Cthulhu-esque vibes with tentacles and stuff. So yeah, so it's been alright. I did change the appearance of my Druid. Now, I had a bit of an issue when I first unlocked the... What is it? When you have the black... Well, I say black eyes, but it's actually really dark blue eyes. The Night Warrior. Look. For some reason, I couldn't really get used to it, because it changes your skin as well. And I thought, well, I do like the appearance of the darker eyes, but what is it that doesn't fit? And it's basically the hair color that didn't fit. I know this is very girly talking about all of this. But, I changed the hair color on my Druid in combination with those eyes, and it actually looks a lot better now. I think she looks kind of badass, so I'm happy with that. In regards to the transfers, I haven't transferred any more characters. In all fairness, Blizzard already got my money for 4 characters, so they're not doing bad out of me. I do want to change over another 4, so... It's really bad. I'm swinging more and more to Alliance all of a sudden again, and I think it has to do with my guild, because everyone is really lovely, and it's just really fun to talk to some of the officers and the members, and it just makes me want to level my my Alliance a little bit more, because it's quite lonely on the other side if you don't have a guild, and I don't want to rejoin that toxic guild I was in on the Horde side. So yeah, I'm swinging more and more towards Alliance again, which is annoying, because I really wanted to be diehard Horde for a very long time, and, you know, we don't have trolls on the Alliance, so bring on the whole, you know, you can roll both races on both factions, because I would make trolls all the time on the Alliance side. In regards to the whole, you know, picking a side on my Horde, because I have not really seen that for Alliance, but that's probably because I haven't unlocked everything. I have to admit that I went with Sourfang, even though I thought, oh yeah, no, I'm going to go with Sylvanas, but I couldn't. Didn't. Maybe it's the Dark Rangers and they just pissed me off with their arrogance. There's something about that choice that I thought, okay, yeah, Sylvanas has done a lot for you know, the Blood Elves back in the day, but she's not a Blood Elf anymore. She truly isn't. She has her own agenda, so I don't know if she would betray the Blood Elves at a certain point. I mean, the fact remained that she wanted to kill one of her sisters to have her with her, so I don't think she's all there. And I thought, you know what? I like trolls and orcs, so I'm picking Sourfang to have no freaking clue what kind of consequence that will have for me. We will see. I guess. And that's really it. So that's all the time I spent in World of Warcraft, changing all my characters over, leveling through the areas, and it goes really quick. Once you get some, you build your gear up with all the war fronts and all that kind of fun stuff, you obliterate a lot of things, especially as a druid. I've noticed that certain elite quests, I have no real issues with getting them down, as long as you know how to use your spells, I guess, because I play balance. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really am enjoying it, but I do miss my rogue, if I'm honest. I quite like stabbing things in the face, so I think I have transferred my Alliance rogue to this server. So I'm debating leveling her. I'm just not really enjoying her race. She's a human at the moment, and I would prefer her to be something else. I just don't know what yet. So I'm open for all suggestions. I think I am very much going for... I think it's going to be a night elf, but they're a bit tall for rogues. I don't know. I can't play gnomes. For the life of me, they're too short. I just can't do it. I'm really sorry, all you gnome lovers. I just can't do it. That's the same reason why I dropped my goblin rogue at a certain point. They're just too short. And I think, the blood elf is a nice medium, so that's probably why I went human. I don't know. I think the run animation for humans is a little bit weird. It's I don't know. Just look at it from the back. For females, they run a little bit odd. So I'm not in the like the biggest, fan base for them. But oh well. I will have to see. At the moment, I'm really enjoying the druid, and instant travel form and all that kind of stuff is actually quite nice. So yeah, not been bad. Anything else that has been going on with World of Warcraft? Just been quiet, I think, on the front. I know that there's a lot of divide about the game at the moment. I can see a lot of people being very unhappy with the game at the moment. I'm still enjoying it, even after a week. I think I'm enjoying it more now. But, I also dabble in other games, just at times when I'm like, okay, well, I've done all of this, I need a little break. I do something else. I don't know. It keeps me on my toes, but I always return to World of Warcraft. Anywho, before I start waffling on about everything I've been doing, I have not been raiding. I've not been doing any dungeons. I just can't commit for that long period of time. I just doesn't do it for me at the moment. Maybe next week. I'm sure I will do it eventually before the next expansion comes out. And that's really been it. So with that being said, I will leave you with an interview with the lovely Daryl from the Training Dummies, and I will see you all on the flip side with some guild drama. And with me today, I'm joined by the other half of the Training Dummies. Welcome, Daryl.
Hey, Sil, thanks for having me.
I'm very happy to have you. It's been a very long time since we talked. So I think we should let everyone, let the world know, who is Daryl from the Training Dummies.
Yeah, I'm Daryl from the Training Dummies. What else do you want to know?
Whatever you want to share.
Let's see, Rob and I have been doing the show together for almost 7 years now.
Wow.
We've also, let's see, what else have we done? Well, even recently, if we're getting to know Daryl, I've gotten into running in the past year. Actually, my Facebook popped up yesterday. It's been a year since I completed the Couch to 5K program.
Wow.
I live in Canada, so I'm, Canadian. I got my janky Canadian internet, so hopefully everything's working here fine with this. Got a family. Yeah, I don't know what else you need to know.
And an avid World of Warcraft player, I would assume.
That too. I'm actually loving the game right now.
That's really good to hear. Okay, so I want to know, are you Horde or Alliance?
Horde through and through, like totally 100%.
So what made you start with the Horde?
They had Shaman.
Ah.
That's that. They had Shaman. If because I started when the game released back in vanilla. So if Alliance had Shaman then as well, there's a good chance I probably would have gone Alliance. But because they didn't, and I really wanted to play Shaman, we ended up Horde, and that's where we stuck ever since.
I see. Was it the whole Thrall thing with Shaman, or?
No, I played Dark Age of Camelot before that, and I was a bard, and the bard was a healing class that played their instruments to help their group. You know, you played your lute, your drums, and that so that you could help your group. And I really enjoyed that play style, and the shaman seemed closest to that play style because you had the totems, and the totems, when you drop them, helped your group, and you were also the healing class. So that's what drew me to that, and that's why that is what I wanted to play when I first started.
Ah, that makes sense then. That absolutely makes sense. Have you ever been tempted to go to the dark side, to the Alliance?
As a main character, no. And actually, up until this expansion, I've never played Alliance like at all. I'd used one of the first boosts they gave us. I think it was like level 80 or 90.
Mm-hmm.
And I did use that on an Alliance character, but I never leveled it. It just sat there. I'm sure it's probably not even in the guild it was in. I had joined Seraphis from the Sundering.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it in his guild, and I don't know if it's still in there. I haven't logged into that character in years. But this expansion, I actually I used the level up, the boost to do a paladin on Alliance side, just so I could do the story. Because one thing that Warcraft has done has gotten better at is how they tell the story. And this expansion is the best yet. So I wanted to experience the Alliance side of the story and the questing zones. So I did that. Rob and I were actually streaming it for a while. We were leveling our Alliance dude. So I do have a max character, Alliance Paladin. Once I hit 120, I haven't really touched it yet because I don't know, I wasn't really feeling the Paladin. Warlock is my new love. So I have rolled Warlock Alliance character, a Void Elf.
Ah.
So I unlocked the Void Elf. So I've got it to level 63, but I haven't played it in 2 or 3 weeks now because it's just been so much that I've been doing on my Horde character, my main. So I haven't really had any time or put in the time to keep leveling that. But I do plan to go through all the story on the Alliance side.
I think this is one of the best expansions for us. You know, if you're into stories, yeah, you will have to see both sides just for the sheer amount of story that you're going to be given.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's parts of the story that a lot of people don't like, myself included, but the way they're telling the story is the best they've ever done.
Yeah, absolutely. So back in the day when it all started and you had to pick a shaman, how did you actually get into World of Warcraft? Did someone give the game to you or what happened?
I started Warcraft playing the original Warcraft game, Orcs and Humans, with my buddies back when I was living in Saskatchewan. That was how many years ago now? Like 25 years, something like that. That's a long time. But that's how I got into Warcraft originally. And I never did play Warcraft 2 or Warcraft 3. But I had gotten into MMOs by playing Dark Age of Camelot, and these same friends of mine were talking about that Warcraft was coming out with an MMO too. It's like, oh, well, I love MMOs after, Camelot is so good, and I really love, the original Warcraft game. So it's like, all right, let's do this. So we all joined together on release day, and I haven't stopped since, pretty much.
Nice. That's really nice. Did you I'm always curious from people who have been sub for so long. Were you one of the lucky people who got that nice statue for being a subscriber for so many years?
This question has actually come up a couple times recently. I don't know. I can't remember the other reason why, but no, I did not.
Oh, no.
Because my wife and I stopped playing for like 2 months to give Warhammer a try.
I remember that game.
Yeah. So we actually stopped our sub it was like 2 or 3 months. And I think that was, excuse me, that was why we didn't get it. Because we both started on release day, and Those were so, and the reason we came back is because all our friends were still playing Warcraft. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, the social aspect is a big one, I think, for World of Warcraft. I think
For sure.
that really keeps people playing as well. Okay, are you still maining a shaman nowadays?
No, I am not.
Oh, what are you nowadays?
A warlock.
Just also on the horde side.
Yeah, definitely on the horde side.
What flavor warlock are you?
Right now, I'm playing demonology and I'm loving it. Like
Nice.
it's so much fun.
I will have to try that out once, as the person who likes to roll all sorts of alts. Okay, so we've been talking about World of Warcraft and how it all started, but like you said, you and Rob have been doing the Training Dummies for several years now. So I figured, we discussed the main topic, and podcasting would be one of them that, I think when we have a veteran on the show, it is always good to talk about podcasts, because I don't know if you've noticed it, but I've seen a lot of new ones pop up, which is great. I think that's really great. And unfortunately, some of the older ones have disappeared. But if anyone is listening to this and they're like, oh, I want to start a podcast, but I don't know what to do, what would you say is the best thing for people to start with?
Don't. You need a topic, I guess, is probably, because no one wants to listen to a couple of people ramble on and on about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
A couple hours, at least I don't. That's my feeling. So you need, what is the focus of your podcast going to be? You need to, is it going to be like a news podcast, like ours, kind of a self-help training kind of podcast, stuff like that. You need something. There's several lore podcasts, right, that cover lore, all that kind of stuff. So it's, what do you want to talk about? What is going to be the main focus for your podcast?
Yeah, that's a very good one. How did you guys come up with the whole concept for the Training Dummies?
I think, we didn't even, when we first started, I don't think we even knew what we wanted to do other than a podcast. Mm-hmm. And I think the name almost came before we decided exactly what we were going to do, because the three of us, it was myself, Rob, and another friend of ours, Hoofit, all decided that we want to do a podcast together. Okay, great. Oh, that's fine. What are we going to do? So we spent probably 2 weeks just trying to come up with the name. Like it was that long, I think. And because, we just figure out a name. Is a Twitter handle available? Is a website available? Blah, blah, blah. Trying to find all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And finally someone in, someone in our group chat suggested, she said, here's one. You guys probably won't like it. And she's like, the Training Dummies. I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. I love that one, because it's from Warcraft. So, we checked, the website's available, Twitter handle's available, all that stuff. Okay, so we were sold. We loved the idea. And it just kind of went from there. We were kind of a guild that helped each other. If someone was struggling playing a class, like, there's a few of us others who knew how to play it as well. And we, always jump in and help them. So we kind of took that and ran with it as the theme for our podcast, is to help others play the game better.
Mm-hmm. What would you say would have been the biggest challenges of having a podcast for so many years?
Well, since it's coming up with a weekly topic, so I don't know if anyone actually listens to it, but if you've noticed in the last couple of weeks, we haven't had a show in probably 3 weeks. We did one last week, but it was just the one we call Off the Rails, where it's just Rob and I, where we don't have a guest. We just talk about what we're doing. But it, we don't count it as one of the official, our topic ones. It's just something we do extra, just like, okay, we haven't done anything in a while. We should really put something out there. But yeah, so coming up with a topic every week is probably the most difficult. It's because once we have a topic, well, then it's great. It's, you find the guests for it, and then we have them make the show notes, basically. It's like such a scam, really. But It works for us.
Hey,
Yeah.
if it works, it works.
I know. So it's, the biggest challenge for us really is coming up with a topic and what we're going to talk about.
Okay. Having done it for that amount of time and seeing the podcast community change over time. I mean, there are still some familiar faces that I still recognize, but also a lot of new faces. What would you say is very important for those that start out?
Don't worry about listeners. If you want to get into podcasting, just assume that no one is going to listen to it, and do it for you. Do it because you want to do it. Do it because it's something you enjoy. And just assume no one's going to listen to it. If people do listen to it, great. That's a bonus, but don't go into it thinking you're going to get, 100,000 downloads, because you probably won't. Just go into it assuming you're going to have no listeners, and do it because you enjoy doing it.
That's a really good tip. I think you can see it with I think for all kinds of platforms, isn't it? Like YouTubers or people on streaming like Twitch or anything. I think people are so hung up on the numbers that they get so disappointed in the beginning if no one is listening or watching them or downloading anything. So I think that's a good thing. But then again, how do people know that you're even out there with so many things available to listeners and viewers nowadays?
Yeah, you could try and get your name out there, but just don't go into it expecting that you're going to have a ton of people listening, right? Because I know, the numbers, when we first started, I would look at the numbers, but I haven't looked at them in probably 5 years. I don't care, right? I still enjoy doing the podcast. I'm going to still keep doing the podcast. And, if people want to listen, great. If they don't, okay, that's fine too. I still enjoy doing it, so I'm going to keep doing it for me.
Oh, that's really good. And I think and I said it to Rob last time, the synergy between you guys is so lovely just to listen to, that I think, even the shows that you don't specifically talk about the subject in World of Warcraft, it's just really nice because you just hear two guys who get on really well just talk about all sorts of things. Yeah,
we do. It's great. Like, we've become really close friends over the years, and I know even because I listened to it after he was on, and we took a trip with our wives last year, and we might be doing that again this year. My wife and I are going to Cabo in the summer, and I've put the invitation out to Rob and his wife, so we'll see if they come along again. I hope so, because that was a lot of fun last year.
That's really nice. So, doing it for such a long time, how do you keep the motivation for doing it?
Well, so the motivation does come and go. Even like the last 3 weeks, like, we haven't really put out a formal episode because I don't know, it's just feeling a little lull at the moment. It's coming up with the good topics, I think, for us is where it's like, oh yeah, this would be really fun to talk about. Or, we'll see a guest or someone that we'd really like to talk to. It's okay. Cause I know we've done this with a few, podcaster friends of ours. Like, okay, well, we want to talk to them. What topic could we use to talk to them? And get them on the show. But yeah, for other motivation, it's just because we enjoy doing it, right? That's the motivating factor. Is it's something that we enjoy doing, so I'm motivated to keep doing it because I enjoy doing it.
That's a good enough reason. Yeah. With all the podcasts out there, I don't know if you listen to a lot of them yourselves, but what is it that piques your interest when you're listening to a podcast?
I don't listen to a lot anymore. But when I do find one that I enjoy, it's generally, you need a good synergy between the hosts. They need to, the number one thing is, I know this is going to sound silly, but it's the quality of the podcast. So if it's all, if it's really scratchy or, hard to hear, I'm not even going to give it a chance. They could have the best topic in the world, but if it's hard to listen to because the sound quality is bad, then I'm not even going to give it a chance. But yeah, and it's topics I enjoy, right? So I really enjoy the lore in the game. So, there's a couple lore podcasts that I listen to all the time.
I think that's a good enough reason. With the just going back to the sound quality of things, as a person who has recently started to edit, don't let people know that. Do you feel that people need to spend money on their podcasting ventures?
Well, there's always going to be a little bit of cost with it. So you need someone to host it so that people can download it. So that's a cost right there, for the website. Although I think the one we have it's not that much. It's gone up over the years. I think it might be around $200 for the year, just for the hosting. But after that, I haven't really spent much. I know we don't use a physical mixer or anything like that. It's all done on the computer, and the program is called Virtual Audio Cables. So I did buy the license for that, but it wasn't very much. I want to say it was like $40, and that's it. That's all we used, right? Is Audacity to record it. That's a free download. So there hasn't been a lot of cost. It's just the annual cost of keeping the website up. But as far as recording, we're bought the license for Virtual Audio Cables, and that's about it. That's
pretty good. I think now and again you can hear it. I think with people with a mic upgrade, but I don't think that people need like the most expensive professional microphones out there.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I suppose a mic. Like I did buy a mic, quite a few years ago, a half decent one. But yeah.
You could still use the mic for other things. I mean, how many of us are playing the games out there without microphones? I'm not saying that we're all talking in game. But...
Yeah, right, exactly.
Okay. Do you have anything else that you would like to mention about podcasting, the podcasting world, or...
I thought I had something else, but now I can't remember it.
What do you think is the deep? Well, maybe I have one more question. What do you think is the hardest thing for people with podcasts? Because you see a lot of people doing it for 2 or 3 episodes and then they disappear. What do you think is the hardest thing?
That's a good one. I don't know why they would be, come and do 2 or 3 and just kind of disappear. If it's, motivation, they're just not interested enough in the topic they want to talk about. I'm not sure why they'd be, just 1 or 2, one and done, right? But yeah, it's, you have to enjoy what you're talking about. Like if you're going on the podcast and just raging about, your topic, like, because you've heard that before. I've heard it before on podcasts where, people are just fed up with the game for whatever reason. And, it's just an hour of them, talking about how bad the game is. No one's going to want to listen to that. And themselves are probably not going to keep, podcasting for much longer, because if they're not enjoying what they're talking about, they're not going to want to talk about it. So I don't know. If that's part of the reason why there's so many that just come and go, or, there is a little bit of work involved, and maybe people don't realize that, to come up with these topics and show notes every week, it takes a bit of work. So if you're not prepared to do some of that work, then, once you get into it, you might not, and start to realize that, maybe you realize you don't want to be doing all that work for it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point, because I think it's with all the platforms. You can see it with people who start really enthusiastic with streaming or with YouTube videos, and then I think people realize that there is quite a lot of like work and prep work you have to do, and afterwards.
Yeah.
And and if you, let's face it, most of us can't make our living out of it. So if you also have to work beside that or go to school or anything, it becomes like a second job sometimes, and I guess not everyone wants to spend the time, which is fair enough.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to Battle for Azeroth.
All right.
You said it was a good expansion. What are you so far the most impressed with, and what is like the thing that you are the least impressed with?
Most impressed with would be the storytelling, I think. The way they're telling the story, you know, the new cutscenes and the cutscenes to advance the story, because I know I'm not gonna throw any spoilers out because it just released this week, but you know, there was a couple of good cutscenes that came in this latest patch even that really advanced the story, where nothing exciting is happening, like, you know, battles and stuff like that, but it's still advancing the story with the cutscenes, and they're doing a really good job of that. Even the quests, you know, some of the quests, the way they're telling the story in the quests is great. But then some of the things I'm least impressed with is, you know, in the same vein, some of the story, right?
Okay.
The whole, I know it's, you know, well, hopefully once 8.2 comes in, we're going to actually get some real stuff with the old gods, but I'm kind of tired of the Horde and Alliance battle. I know I've said this before, but putting the war back in Warcraft is great, but it's like they keep trying to do it, and I don't know, I've almost had too much of it. Like, I know it's the Horde and it's the Alliance, but we always come together to fight the big bad at the end, so the whole really focusing on that this time is just, I kind of wish they hadn't done that. That's the part of the story that I'm not enjoying. I like how they're telling the story and the stuff like that, like the mechanisms they're using to advance the story, but the story itself is it's not my favorite, to say that.
Okay. Is that also because of I'm going to play a little bit of, like, you know, I'm playing that card. Is it because of Sylvanas and what she's doing and how she's leading the Horde against the Alliance, or is it just the concept of Horde versus Alliance?
It's almost, you know, the concept of Horde versus Alliance, because even when they announced this expansion and we didn't know what was going to go on, I was almost disappointed in the story that they were going to be telling with it. Like the whole, I was disappointed in the announcement of what it's going to be, what the expansion is going to be. It's going to really focus on the war of Warcraft, you know, the Horde versus the Alliance. It's like, okay, you know, because they've had other expansions where we're saying we're putting the war back in Warcraft. It's like, well, okay. So
do you think with some people theory crafting about what's happening and what's happened in the past, that we might get a third faction?
I don't think so, because I don't know. I don't think there will be a third faction.
Okay.
I know there's lots of theory crafting about it, because we've got like Sourfang's Horde, or even you know, some other parts from the Alliance, but I don't think it'll happen.
If it would happen, say that it would happen, how would you feel about that? Because then there's 3 factions who might all go to war with each other. Would that make it less of a thing for you, or would you actually be like, you know what, that actually could be really interesting?
I don't know. I'm going to keep playing the game either way, because I really enjoy the game. I enjoy playing it, I enjoy playing with my friends, but I don't know. I'm not excited about the prospect of a third faction, because like I've said, like PvP, when I first started this game, I was all PvP gung-ho, because, you know, in Dark Age of Camelot, where I started, that was a big PvP game, where it was called RVR, Realm vs. Realm. And they had certain areas where you'd go out and you'd just, you know, fight the other realms. And that was a blast. So when I started Warcraft, I started PvP. We started on PvP server, but I'm over it. I haven't turned War Mode on once. I don't miss it.
Wow.
It's great. Like, I'm enjoying not getting ganked out in the wild when I play.
Fair enough.
That's what happens, because I'm not a good PvPer anymore. I used to be okay, but now it's like, you know, someone comes to gank me, I just take my hands off the keyboard and wait for it to be over, because there's nothing I could do, basically.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know how well I am at PvP. I can accept it.
Okay. Anything else that you wanted to say about Battle for Azeroth?
The game itself, like I'm still enjoying playing it, even though there's some facets of the story. Like this raid is a great raid. The Battle for Dazar'alor. It's a blast. We actually just killed Jaina last night, so that was.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
Yeah, so we're starting to progress a little bit on heroic now, but you know, I'm still enjoying the game. You know, because you know Blizzard has the other games that I enjoy playing, like you know, Heroes of the Storm, where I'd usually play that a couple nights a week, but I haven't played in a couple months at least because I'm just having so much fun playing Warcraft right now, and so yeah, it's still a lot of fun. I still really enjoy the game. I enjoy what they've done with Demonology this expansion. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun playing right now.
They are doing something right then if they still get people to play after so many years.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any good tips for the listeners regarding Battle for Azeroth? So maybe something that you've discovered, or just you know, some words of wisdom, or anything that you think, okay, this could help people maybe who are a little bit burned out or not quite sure what they should be doing in game.
I know they're changing out the in 8.2 they're going to be changing the whole Azerite's gear system. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. But you know, to help advance your character, just do your emissaries. I know it's quick and they're world quests, but if that's all you're going to do, at least get those done, because you get a good chunk of Azerite, which levels up, you know, your necklace, which gives you more power, gives you more trace to unlock. So yeah, I'd say, you know, just if you're going to do anything when you log in at night, just get your emissaries done.
That's a good tip. That's really a good tip. What has the Warcraft community meant to you? And I know for podcasters it can be a bit bigger because, you know, there are also the podcast community and the Twitter community, I guess, who are quite big for Warcraft. But what has the Warcraft community specifically meant to you?
As the bigger whole, I don't know. You know, if I want to take it down, like my small Warcraft community that I play with all the time, that one means a lot to me. You know, it's I've got a lot of really good friends in that community. You know, Rob, and then several other, you know, of my guildies. That's the Warcraft community for me. That's the Warcraft. When I think of Warcraft community, you know, you think of the whole big, you know, large community, but I don't interact with that very much. It's when I play Warcraft, and my Warcraft community is my guild and my friends in game that I play with every day and talk to every day, because, you know, our community, well, we're at work, we're all in Discord every day as well, you know, chatting with each other. Like they're all like my really good friends, and you know, I look forward to BlizzCon every year, so that more so than, you know, the announcement at BlizzCon and what actually happens at BlizzCon, but so that I can see all of these people in real life. You know, I can give them all hugs, all that kind of stuff, you know, chat with them, you know, face to face, for, you know, like real face to face. So yeah, that Warcraft community means a lot to me, because these are my friends. These are, you know, my best friends, all of them. So it's great. You know, I just love my Warcraft community, which is, you know, my guild and all my friends that I play with.
That's really good. I like that. It's always nice hearing that about people making friendships for the game and for your guild. Okay, now we go to the weirder question, and also like almost the final question. What is your whisper? And your whisper can be like fairy crafting, it can be a wish that you hope that will happen in game, or, you know, anything that you think might happen. What would be yours? So,
a wish that I would like in game?
Maybe, yeah.
All right, let's go for that. Okay, so you were talking about the third faction, but I almost want to see it go the opposite way. Like, I almost want to see the faction war end. Like, you want to blow someone's mind at BlizzCon announcing the next expansion. Mention that you can go now play with all your alliance friends and your horde friends if you're the opposite faction. you can join a raid with them. Wouldn't that blow some minds? Wouldn't
Wow.
that be crazy, eh?
That would.
We're always fighting together against the big bads. Make it real. Make it happen. Let's fight together against the big bads.
I like that one. That would really blow some. Wow. I can
I
imagine
know.
the reactions already.
Exactly. That'd be amazing.
That is a really interesting one. Okay, I like that one. All right, Daryl, thank you so much for being a guest. It was so nice hearing your voice again.
Yeah, it's been too long since we've talked, that's for sure.
I know, it's been ages. So if people want to find out more about you and Rob, of course, if they want to listen to the Training Dummies, where can I find you and the podcast?
Let's see. Well, we've got our website, thetrainingdummies.com. All our current and past episodes are on there if anyone wants to take a listen. Let's see. We've got our Twitter at Training Dummies. Myself as Daryl _TTT. Rob, of course, is at Rob Copeland. And that's probably the easiest way to reach us is just on Twitter. We do have a Discord, which we're not very active in there. We'll post when we're recording new shows. It's discord.me/TTD is the invite link for that. But yeah, those are probably the easiest ways to get a hold of us for sure.
That's good enough, isn't it? That's lots of ways to get into touch with you guys. Daryl, thank you again, and it was lovely talking to you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. It was just lovely talking to Daryl again, and you should definitely check out the Training Dummies if you have not done so before, but of course you already have. Right, I'm going to leave you with some guild drama. So this is something Samantha sent in. So it's a long one, so I would get comfy. I went back to Horde after dealing with Alliance toxicity on Emerald Dream for a long time. I joined this guild and befriended its guild leader M. After a couple of weeks, he starts getting weird with the officers and ends up kicking one for a single day of bad attitude. We all witnessed the interaction and he just wasn't talking to M when prompted, so M was getting offended that he was in a bad mood. Pulls the rest of the officers into a chat and we get his side of events and start asking, well, he was literally in the highest officer position, and if he can get kicked for a single bad day, what are the rules here? This pisses him off immensely. We say, okay, we are out. Have a nice day, and approximately 40 people, including his entire officer team, G-quit. Took back all the gold and prizes they had been donating to the guild bank, which, since they were the only ones doing it, while M, to credit, was everything. Then the fun started. One of the officers shared a video to our Discord that she'd found. A literal 1-hour documentary on why M was real-world insane. Turns out M had done this sort of thing in many servers, except at least once he actually stalked and showed up at a woman's real-life home. Mind you, we had this link because he himself had given it to the office to brag about how this woman was crying in a portion of the interview about things he had done or said. Not even 10 minutes after we formed a new guild, he starts advertising on trade chat for officers. I completely freaked out that this dude is allowed on WoW, shared the link in trade chat and labeled him. I also went on an alt I hadn't pulled from the old guild yet and posted in their guild chat. Then I removed all my alts. Apparently this triggered him to demote every single member to basic entry level. Then he started using Super Guild Invite again so we wouldn't see his ads. 2 days later he tells Trade he's giving things away, cleaning out what was left in the guild bank. He hopped on a random alt and got some free stuff from him, which I immediately put into our new guild bank. Apparently the moment he finished handing things out to the crowd that had gathered, he disbanded the guild. 1,000 members, boom, guildless. Then he server transferred to parts unknown so he could try to prey on other people. I reported him as many ways as I could, but I'm just afraid he's doing it again. I have a young daughter and had been starting to prevent this person. I've been genuinely on edge for a week after this went down. That's really creepy that someone tries to find people like in real life and shows up at their door. that is creepy. And people like that, no, that needs to be smacked down so quickly. That's horrible. I wouldn't want to go as far as calling someone insane, but in all fairness, that is taking it really far. And this, the fact that someone has to brag about it, that they made someone cry, not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all. Right, so I have another one that's kind of long. So this is from Night Sky from Steamweedle Cartel. My last guild I was in for 12 years, even realm transferred with them. I was a high-ranking officer, third highest ranking guild member. Anyway, we started raiding in Legion and all were working hard and having fun together. Once WOD hit, they decided to get serious. And I kept raiding with them because I enjoyed their company. We had certain DPS levels that were required for Nighthold to even be on the raid team, and set times and days, etc. All seemed fine until the GM began acting like the raid leader when they weren't raid leader. The GM eventually had a falling out with one of our healers during raid who left the guild over it. I personally do not like conflict. It makes my stomach hurt, so I took off my headset after saying I can't listen to this. The GM already knew I don't do well with that kind of conflict. Quietly after the raid, a few other members left due to the GM's treatment of the healer in the raid. The GM started raging and calling anyone who left traitors. I went about my business quietly, still talking to the people who had left and staying in the guild and enjoying my time with them. Out of nowhere, the GM messages me and wants me in Discord with another guildie we were close with. Our GM then goes into a rant saying we are avoiding them and betrayed them because we didn't defend them. When all this went down 2 days ago, what I didn't know is I have been defending them to those who left, trying to help ease the situation. I also had gotten sick and it was my first day back after being sick. I explained this to them and they still wouldn't let it go, saying that we had betrayed them. God, this already sounds like so much people are having so many like issues. Right. Night Sky continues. For my friend, this was the last straw, and he ended up deciding to leave, which he informed me of through Messenger, while I was out celebrating my anniversary with my husband. The next time I got on the game, my GM whispered me, yelling at me, asking if I knew he was leaving. I said yes. He messaged me while I was out celebrating my anniversary. GM then threw a fit that I didn't stop my anniversary to tell her right away and logged off. A few days later, she messaged me because she saw I was in a raid after our raid time and messaged me asking if I was in a raid with them. I said yes, we were in a pug, and she asked if I intended to keep raiding with them. I said yes, but only after our raids, so I could keep my loot rolls for the guild. She threw a fit and logged out. Then she made the the raid leader message me, instructing him to tell me that I can't raid with them. He actually said, look, I can't tell you what to do since you pay for your sub, but she's afraid you're going to poach people from the guild, I guess, and doesn't want you to raid with anyone but the guild anymore. I told him I would never poach people since that would be hurting me too, since this is my raiding team too, and I love this guild and I wouldn't want to screw it up. The raid leader told her that he wasn't going to kick me from the raid team, and he wasn't the type of person who would poach people, and was loyal to the guild. A couple of days later, the GM sent me a letter saying I needed to only raid with them since I was compromising the guild as an officer by playing with traitors. I told her that until she pays my sub, she can't tell me who I can and can't play with, and that if she wanted me out, she would have to kick me because I'm not leaving since I love this guild. She threw a fit because she had planned to give the guild to me, but now I was just a traitor, said a lot of other unkind things, then had another officer who was a brown-noser kick me so she wouldn't look like the bad guy. For someone I had played with for 12 years and I didn't expect this level of mistrust. You live and you learn. I ended up moving to another realm and name changing. That is so horrible. I can't. That is really horrible. You've been with that guild for 12 years and then the raid leader throws a wobble like that. That just... It sounds very paranoid, and I think some people take the game far too serious by stating things like, you know, they're traitors. And what I do love, and I think this is something that we can learn something from, is the whole, you know, until you pay my sub, you can't tell me who I can and can't play with. I like that one. That's very, very true. So yeah, good for you that you didn't, you know, take that bullshit basically. But it's really a shit thing that you got kicked from that guild, and I hope that you found something else. I'll do one more story for you, and then that will be it then for guild drama today. So this one comes from Ashley, and I'm going to say that it's a she, but I know it can be both male or female names, so I'm just going to say she for now. Ashley said, we had a successful casual guild, and from time to time we had a lot of drama that goes on. The latest issue we had was during a raid night. People were being silly and cracking jokes until one person made a dead parent joke. One of our officers said he had lost both his parents and that it was the anniversary of his father's death. The guildie turned around and said, well, they can't talk back now, can they? This deeply hurt the person who had lost his parents. As the DMs were off for the evening, it was brought to our attention in the morning, and after a long discussion, as there had been prior incidents with this person, we decided it was best to ask them to leave. His wife pitched a fit over it, saying it wasn't fair and that he was being picked on. Then another guildie pitched a fit because the GMs weren't online and had no right dealing with it because we had no clue what happened, and that asking this person to leave was a knee-jerk reaction. What they don't know is the 3 GMs all have contacts out of game. The main GM is a close friend of mine in real life, and she has contact with the 3rd GM. Yeah, we have 3 GMs because I play days, my friend plays evenings and nights, so into the early mornings, and our 3rd hasn't been able to play because his family lost their residence to the hurricanes. I'm really sorry to hear that. But we basically talk everything over before we make a decision, as well as discussions with those involved. Now these 3 that left have made it their goal to try to destroy us. We dealt with everything and have moved on and are still recruiting despite what they may try. We really don't care about petty ignorant people who have zero consideration for others. But they have started harassing guildies and have had to be banned from Discord because they can't let things go. We also have a mole feeding info, so we decided to say screw it and let's just move on and not let them get to us. Whatever stupidity they bring, we will deal with as it comes. And to boot, we have a disabled guildie and they treated him like crap because his DPS wasn't up to par. He is the sweetest person and helps everyone, and yet they refuse to carry him in a raid group with 12 plus high DPS. Says a lot towards the person's character when they knowingly treat someone badly because they can't be bothered to help someone and basically make their day or week with a simple act of kindness. I think that just shows, you know, that you made the right decision by kicking them. If they are so horrible and can't even just ease up on people with a disability, so they might not be able to work the keyboard as well as other people can, good for you. Honestly, good for you for kicking them and for helping this person, and just, you know, don't caring that people do less DPS. I think in the end it's all about having fun, isn't it? I mean, that's what we pay our money for. I don't pay my sub every month to, I don't do it every month. I pay for 6 months, but you know what I mean, to to get people to annoy you and just make you have a bad time logging in. Fuck that. I don't work my ass off to pay for that. No, it's not worth it. So yeah, I salute you for doing that, and I think it's great, the whole fact that you have 3 GMs. Why not? That sounds like a good deal to me. So that was the guild drama. I have not experienced any drama as of late. I'm very happy about that. That could possibly be with the guild I'm in. At least on the Lion side, I can't say it enough. It's a great guild. And I think I should do a shout out. It's Immortalis on Argent Dawn. It's the guild that Taliesin and Evital are in, and they honestly, the people are so lovely. Everyone is so talkative. It's so nice to be in a guild like that again. And yeah, I'm hoping to find something for my Hordes on Argent Dawn as well, just because I'd like to see people chat nicely and not see things like you will get kicked if you don't blah blah blah, you know, the toxic guild as I was in. And that's it. I am going to try and find a guest for next week. If you want to be a guest, I would love that. So please get in touch with me. And you can do that in the following ways. Of course, you can always go and find the podcast on whispersofwar.podbean.com. But if you want to let me know that you want to be a guest, then please do so on Twitter. That's probably the best way. So go to @whispers_of_war or to my personal account @McMonkeys. I just need to, it's private. So if I just see that you're anything related to World of Warcraft, I can't see why I wouldn't add you. So that's really it. I just don't want people from work to add me so quickly because I post shit at times. So that's why. So McMonkeys with a Z. Or you can email the show, of course. It's been very quiet in the email box. So if you want to tell me anything, like any stories, or you want to, I don't know, ask a question. Not that I'm like the fountain of knowledge, but you never know. You can also do that. Then email me at whispersofwarpodcast@gmail.com. And that's it, people. I hope you have a wonderful time in Azeroth. Be nice to one another. That's such a... Who used to say that? Was that Dr. Phil? I can't remember. But enjoy your time. Don't take shit from anyone because they don't pay your subscription. And yeah, just have fun. And I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.